kill us, and somebody out there is to blame, and this is the dynamic that they love living in. That's just what it is. That's the boomer dynamic. Is just we love fear. They have really attached themselves to fear. They have had it the easiest of maybe any generation to have ever lived, ever, and they still somehow find things to complain about. It's kind of impressive. It's just damn fucking impressive when you could talk to people that for a lot of them have inherited houses, gotten great jobs, were able to go to colleges very cheaply, made it. If they weren't in Vietnam, they kind of skated by without any serious military commitments in their lives unless they were voluntary. Yes, there was a boom and bust cycle in the economy. Of course, they went through periods of economic hardship, but that's everybody. I mean, there was nothing like the Great Depression. And I don't think there was too much like the financial crisis of 2008. I mean, the early 70s were bad, and the 80s sucked, parts of that sucked for different people. But the people I'm talking about kind of skated by. They kind of did really well through all of these things. And again, they either idolize Trump or hate him. He is the center of their universe in a good or a bad way. And because, again, they want, it's either Rachel Maddow or Tucker Carlson. It is fear-based, kind of end of life. We don't know what else to do. We've done it all. All the hippie bullshit never was realized. Any of that stuff never really happened. We all became yuppies. And then we all bought houses in the suburbs, and then we are all now, huddled in these houses in the suburbs and angry and just looking outside the windows. There are people coming to kill us, and we got to defend our, So I get it, but I mean, it's just like, that's part of why I like the suburbs. I like living in this house, but I wonder if I could live in like a modern apartment, because my goal would be to kind of live in that modern apartment and still keep that fear and that anger from the suburbs and bring it into the city. Keep that fear, that sense of being aggrieved, that sense of perpetual victimhood, that sense of just churning, angry, violent, nasty entitlement, and bring it into this kind of modern communal living situation, and one by one poison everybody that lives there, one by one, But listen, folks, here's the reality. You shouldn't talk if you haven't had COVID. Everything's about, you should just have COVID. And if you don't have it, make it up that you had it. Because I know people now that are almost provably doing that. They're provably making up that they had COVID, and they're medicating COVID with things like Percocet, which is not a prescribed thing. And then they're saying things that have nothing to do with COVID, like just saying, yeah, I had a physical fight with, I beat up my boyfriend, COVID. I beat up my girlfriend, hey, I threw my wife down the stairs. You know how it goes, COVID. So that's where we're at now. If you haven't had COVID, invent that you've had COVID, because no one's going to take you seriously. So as of right now, I'm going to let everyone know, last week I beat COVID. I punched my mother in the face. I robbed a bank. I bought a bunch of guns. I went to the Capitol, and I stormed in, and I went and I put a fucking pen, and I held Nancy Pelosi, and I held the pen to her neck. And you know why? Because COVID! I've been trying to donate to coronavirus, and it is very difficult, and I'll tell you why. They don't need money as much as they need supplies. They need masks. They need ventilators. I cannot make a ventilator in my West Hollywood apartment. I lack the skill. I lack the material. I don't know what it is. Could I make masks? I don't know, but I don't think I can. And the masks that I make would just be insulting. It would be stupid. So, anticipating that this is a larger economic problem, of course, it impacts lots of people. I guess somebody told me today, they said you could just donate to a food bank. And all right, but guys. How sexy is donating to a food bank? Let's get real. Does anybody want to donate anonymously to a food bank? I want to donate to something where I can show the world that I'm doing it, so I can inspire them. I want a photo of me outside Cedars-Sinai. I want 2 doctors and a nurse crouched on the floor holding their stethoscopes, and I want to be behind them with my hand on each of their backs. And I want that photo. I don't need to go anonymously donate to a food bank. I want something big, something glossy, a little sexy. A little sexy. I know they're going through it, doctors and nurses. I know that. I know that. And it fucking sucks out there, and I want to help them. But I also want to be photographed doing it. And if that makes me a bad person, fine. If you don't want to listen to the show anymore, then fine. I want to be photographed helping. I'm not saying I need a documentary about me helping. That wouldn't be horrible either. But I want to still photograph, or a few of them, of me helping in whatever capacity I help. That's all. So if there's a way for me to help that is a little sexy, please let me know. A little bit of a photo op. I appreciate all the first responders and nurses and doctors taking time away from patients to send me messages on Instagram, so I know what's going on for my show. I appreciate that. Don't stop. Keep sending those messages. Just keep sending them. Doesn't matter what the hell's going on in there. Keep me abreast of all the local developments on the ground, please. It's another pandemic. All my relatives are going to somehow survive. Great. the financial crisis, every kind of cancer. They're unbeatable, these people. The boomers you can't get them. Can't get them. They're gonna walk around like Lazarus, raised from the dead, complaining about the temperature of shrimp. What's wrong? Did you leave it out for too long? I'm telling you, you're not gonna beat the boomer. People think this virus, the boomer remover. Think not. It'll get some people, and that's fucking tragic. But the boomers are gonna be back, and they're gonna be back with a vengeance. This is their Holocaust. There will be. Do you think the boomers were bad before? They are going to talk about COVID-19 the way people talk about Kristallnacht. I'm telling you. They're not going to let it go. You think they were annoying before? These motherfuckers are going to go hard. They're going to go hard. They'll tell a nurse right to her face that she doesn't know shit. They'll be like, well, you don't even... Well, where were you? I was a nurse on the front line. The front lines are what? You're young. I was old in my house, having to be racist in my home, and not at the local restaurant.
And a lot of the boomers now are flying, like the boomers are flying in large numbers now. And the boomers are flying to go visit and torture and torment their children. This is why boomers are traveling all over the country, is to go to where their children have been forced to live and laugh at them. This is what boomers like to do. They go, that you pay this for that? That's the whole point. Anytime a boomer gets in a plane, it is so that the plane can land and they can go to their children's house and go, oh my God, this is what you're living in? This is how you live? And the reason for that is because boomers refuse to sell their houses. Boomers are 85 years old, riddled with 4 cancers, and will not sell their house unless they make $900,000. They have impoverished an entire generation of people that cannot get into the real estate market because boomers themselves refuse to leave. There's all kinds of articles about this now, and it's hilarious. Boomers will not relinquish their hold on suburban real estate in America. They won't. They won't do it. If they took a little less money, for example, for their house, if the boomers went, you know what, I'll take a little less money for this house, and I'll just put it back on the market so that someone else could have a shot. But boomers are sitting there. They've got 17 pills they take every day just to stay alive. And they pick up the phone, and the real estate agent goes, maybe we could do this, we can get you this, and they go, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You will never get this house for under 1.9. They refuse to leave because it's their biggest coup d'etat. The boomer having a McMansion in a place like Long Island is the thing that they have that allows them to, they're the lord of the manor. And they can impress upon their children what failures they are because they don't live in the style that the boomers live in. Now, the boomers, of course, will leave out all the advantages they had to get said house, but they will not relinquish that because that is the thing that they have. You know, this is the thing that they have. This is the way that they judge. There was an article, why boomers will not move into more size-appropriate homes, which I love, because boomers are, you know, if anything, they are selfish. They like themselves, which makes them funny. That's what makes them really, really funny. And the reason that they won't leave these houses is because they cannot imagine trying to live in a more simple way, even in like the twilight of their days. In the twilight of their days, they need more space. And then their millennial children can't afford any of this. So they're on planes now, complaining about everything, waiting for the plane to land. So their first stop is going to go to their children's house and then go, oh my God, it's so small here. It's very small. I mean, I feel so bad for your you know, when we were coming, I mean, we worked harder than you guys, of course. And we had a lot more to deal with, but, you know, at least you got something for your money. You got a little something. It's like, you're the reason. You are the reason. We have the oldest Congress in American history. These people will not retire. Boomers hold on for dear life to everything. To everything. They are falling down in the halls of Congress. They will not leave. They will not quit. This is why the world looks the way it does. It's being run exclusively by like elderly boomers who will not leave. They are afraid of not running the show. You know, they will not. Yeah. According to a recent Merrill Lynch retirement study of more than 3,600 respondents, 49% of retirees didn't downsize in their last move, and 30% actually ended up moving into larger homes. This is how sick some of these people are. They go, I'm 100 and I want more. I want a bigger home. I want a bigger home to show my kids what losers they really are. That's really what it comes down to. I want a mansion now to show my kids how much better I've done than them. They will not let go. They will not let go. Diane, what's her name, of Feinstein, died in office. She was a corpse for years, died in office. Our president, he will not step aside. He won't step aside. It's kind of a common thing to the whole boomer thing is just hold on to it. Hold on for dear life. But I see them, you know, when you get on a plane, obviously there's people of all ages, but you'll just kind of key in on the boomers, and they're just kind of very judgmental. And, you know, they're in like economy plus. You know, they paid just a little bit more. They paid just a little bit more so they can harass the flight attendant a standard deviation more than the people in the back. They have a little bit of status, and maybe some of them were in first, who knows? But they're all just traveling to some city where their children live, and they can go and judge them for how they live. And they never make the connection that, oh, none of us have put our homes back on the market. None of us have, God forbid, taken a little bit less and simplified our lives, you know, so that we're effectively locking out. Because, by the way, guess who loves the BlackRock and everybody giving everybody crazy money? The boomers. They go, yeah, you give me that $2 million. They love it. They love it. They'll tell you. One of the favorite pastimes of anyone over a certain age, they'll tell you what they can get for their house. Immediately. You don't even ask. You do not even, and they do it on holidays, like on Christmas and stuff. They know why they're doing it, too. They know exactly why they're doing it. They sit immediately, they go, yeah. They go, you want to hear something crazy? And you're like, okay. And usually when someone says that, you want to hear something crazy, you would think they're going to tell you something crazy. You know, like some crazy story they heard. When a boomer says you want to hear something crazy, they just want to tell you the exact amount of money they have. That's exact. They go, no, come here, listen to this. I bought this for $200,000. You know what they tell me I could get now? 1.8. Isn't that something? But guess what? I ain't leaving for under 2. Pause this for a minute. I adore them so much. They are all the same. This generation of people is my favorite. I'm telling you, I would rather spend time. I love the elderly. I love the boomers. I would so much rather spend time with these people than anyone else. I love them so much. It is, they're all, I love how she goes, there's diverse experience. No, there's not. She proves in this video, there's really not. It's the same DNA of person, because I love how immediately she's like, yeah, I've been made to feel invisible. This whole thing will just be, she'll go, I'm the victim here. I'm actually, the boomer, my generation is the victim, which is my thesis about the boomers, is that they really can only express any emotion through grievance, even when she's saying something like, you know, but it was good, I like being invisible. Like, even when she's turning it, you know, on its head and saying it's a positive thing, they can only ever emit any type of frequency that's based in grievance. So it's very funny. She starts and she goes, well, he's a comedian and he's funny, and they try to be funny, and that's what it does, and I'm sure he makes his money and whatever. But he's wrong, and here's why he's wrong. And then now it's a litany of that she's been ignored and she's been marginalized, and the boomer men are out there invisible, but the boomer women are not visible. Like Hillary Clinton, the invisible boomer woman who ran for the presidency 2 times, is invisible.
Everything changes. You know, I don't like feeling marginalized, though. If that's, I don't feel marginalized because I work from an elevated state of consciousness in terms of emotions and feelings. And if people want to marginalize me, that's their right. And it is. Now, the generation gap when I was growing up was on full display, and I can understand why. We had the civil rights movement, which was coming out of the closet. We had the Vietnam War, which really caused a lot of division.
By the way, isn't it funny how we've just used gay terminology? Now the civil rights movement has become gay. She's like, the civil rights movement was coming out of the closet. I think she means the black civil rights movement, right? It's just funny the way that the gay terminology is now used, you know? She's like, we had the civil rights movement, which was coming out of the closet, and they were fabulous. Rosa Parks was fabulous. She was coming out of the closet, and she was sparkling, yes, queen. It's just so hilarious. Keep going with this.
Even though my family was opposed to the war, but there were people within my family. Like, for instance, there was a time when my mother was totally opposed to the war, and she actually knew every single battle that was taking place in Vietnam at the time. My uncle, Earl, who was a bishop in the Episcopalian Church at the time, he's no longer with us. Actually, he played cards with Eisenhower in World War II because he was a chaplain in World War II, and he knew Ike very well. And one time we actually filmed, or not filmed, sorry. That was a long time ago, so we weren't filming. But we caught on audio a conversation between my mother and Uncle Earl. And I don't even have to listen to it to remember every single word that was said. He was furious. He was all rattled. And she had just gotten up from a nap. She was calm, cool, collected. She was making her points about these generals in the Vietnam War and how they had basically were disrespecting the Vietnamese people. You know, we were killing a lot of people, not just the whatever enemy. No, there are no enemies, but my Uncle Earl believed that there were, and we love him. He was an absolutely brilliant man, and he was well educated. But my mother was uneducated and also came toe to toe with him in many different situations, and they were considered the greatest generation. Because my uncle was a bishop in the Episcopalian Church, he often did not come across anybody who countered anything that he believed or anything that he said. Everybody believed that he had the ultimate knowledge because he was a bishop in the Episcopalian Church. The only person who ever went up against
This is why,
him,
by the way, this is why I kind of want to die well before this woman, because I don't want to be one day just being like, and then there was Kill Tony that I did. I was on Kill Tony. And then I was on a Kill Tony show, and then I with Theo Von was from the South. And I talked to him. We had a talk. And we talked to him about the homeless people and and the DoorDash. And then there was, Joe Rogan came into the green room, and, he said you should do a podcast, which was like it was, radio, but on the... So I do feel bad. Let's speed this up a little bit. I don't know if there's a point here. Is there?
The last 2 minutes are a little more cogent.
Okay. Well, and by the way, she's adorable, and I don't know what's happening with her uncle and Eisenhower, but all of it, I'm sure, gets somewhere. Let's listen to the last two.
Oh, I think we're still recording.
Yeah.
These situations arise where we make fun of our parents, or we may not necessarily make fun, but we still criticize them long after their death. What sense does that make?
A lot of it. A lot of sense.
So anyway,
Better than criticizing them when they're alive.
the wisdom of everybody has wisdom, and everybody has the wisdom that they can share with you so to make you a better person, especially your parents, for God's sake. That's their job. So realize it's not funny to make fun of them. Although I think lots of things are funny, but I don't think it's fun for Tim Dillon to make fun of the boomers, and I don't think it's fun for all of us to make fun of our parents or to criticize the way they raised us, which of course some people have raised. I believe that no matter what happens, we should be very grateful for the fact that we came into this world with people who were not.
Yeah, I know it's a hard case, honey. It's a hard case. You're doing your best. It's a hard case, baby cakes.
They just weren't knowledgeable about children.
That's correct. They weren't knowledgeable about children. Well, now we're getting to it.
Her parents divorced when she was 3, and they put her in a Roman Catholic convent from 3 to 13.
Yes, and isn't that lovely?
Barely ever visited her.
That's nice.
So
that's good.
That was her trauma.
But let's not make fun of them, right?
I basically didn't understand what that was all
that's
about.
Good.
Until later in life, because she was always had these vibrations of abandonment.
Ooh.
Okay, so what we want to do is let Tim Dillon know that there are certain boomers who are aware of his antics and his attitudes towards the baby boomers.
Okay.
And ha ha ha, but not so much, okay?
Yes.
Please subscribe to my channel. I love you all.
We love you as well.
Peace on earth.
Is it?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, well, there you go. That is the very cogent defense of the boomer woman who has then defended boomers by saying, well, hey, my mother's parents were actually worse. They put her in a convent. That was kind of all what it came down to. She goes, the boomers were fine. My mother actually was put in a convent by her family. So there you have it. There is the... Can you get her whistling again?
Yeah.
Just get her whistling one more time. This is the defense. This is the cogent defense, by the way. So here is boomers defending themselves against the charge that they have destroyed the world. Here it is right here.
No, I think we're still recording.
There you go. There it is. That's the boomers responding to the charge that they have destroyed the world. And again, I'm not even mad at them about that. I'm not even, someone had to. That's the point of my book. Someone had to.